不要说你的，我都不能够在这里画账了，是不是？
跟我比，你知道我是谁吗？我是天使。
天使啊，那天使吃饭更要给钱的，是不是？要不的话就不是天使了，是吧？你天使还要坑平凡人呢。
我肯定要给钱的，
我要给钱。
我说要挂账，他
挂账没挂。
害我在这里等待1个钟头吧，坐的我这个腿都断了。
既然是天使的话，就赏点钱给平凡人用一下吧，好吧？
我等了老半天，
你袋子来。
我等了老半天，他这个臭奶，这个鸭没有盐，
你袋子来。
我没吃饱，怎么办？什么赔偿损失？
啊？
哎，我的
赔偿损失啊！天使，你还用说这些这个话吗？是吧？那就不是天使了。
普多平阳被犬欺，这2个月天使没钱。
行了，不要装疯扮傻，好吧？这样的天使赶快给钱，起来吧，起来。
干嘛起来干啥？
我看你有没有钱。什么都没有。
什么都没有。
那你是天使的话，你要带点东西出来。
天使是不用带钱的，什么都不用带。
您没听错，天使下凡了。
You heard it right. A real angel has descended to earth. On May 20th, in Guangzhou, a middle-aged woman walked into a restaurant, ate a full meal, but refused to pay. She even shamelessly declared, "I'm an angel, and angels don't need to pay for food." Not only that, she also nitpicked and complained that the food was terrible, which infuriated the restaurant owner so much that he had to call the police on the spot. According to informed sources, the woman is around 40 years old, a typical leftover woman, and this wasn't her first time pulling such a stunt. As for where exactly this so-called angel was banished from, no one knows. But one thing is clear to everyone: if this is an angel, then humanity truly cannot bear it. In the comments section, netizens were ruthless with their sarcasm. One said, "This angel was definitely banished from the celestial realm for lying, just look at her, clearly not an honest person." Another mocked, "There are no angels in China. China only has little fairy leftover women." One commenter joked, "Quick, send her to meet God and see if she dares to transform on the spot and reveal those 2 wings." Some were even more blunt, "This isn't an angel, this is obviously a demon." And one particularly sharp comment read, "She's the first person to dine and dash with such confidence and elegance, clearly someone in need of a good lesson from society." In contrast, a recent news story was deeply touching. A male customer accidentally forgot to pay after a meal but called the restaurant 3 hours later to settle the bill, simply because, in his mind, the word integrity outweighs everything. And then there's this woman who calls herself an angel. Just to scam a free meal, she could lie without batting an eye, throw a public tantrum, and act shamelessly in broad daylight. If it hadn't been witnessed firsthand, who could believe that someone could be this brazen? But this is the reality. There are people like this in society. And people like her truly deserve to be blacklisted, so they can no longer harm others. What's worth reflecting on is this: some older unmarried women, after years of romantic disappointment and social marginalization, if lacking healthy emotional regulation and life support systems, can easily spiral into extremes. Some gradually fall into delusion, self-glorification, and a state disconnected from reality. When this kind of psychological distortion accumulates over time, it can result in absurd but real social incidents, like today's "I'm an angel, I don't need to pay" story.
大龄剩女雅典娜今天在上海宛平南路600号精神病医院看病。
Today, a well-known leftover woman in China went to a psychiatric hospital located at No. 600 Wanping South Road in Shanghai for a consultation. After the examination, the doctor told her, "You don't have any mental illness." But in the end, she was still prescribed medication for schizophrenia. Sisters, doesn't this sound a little ironic? But reality is just this absurd. Perhaps this is the final destination for being single for too long. Do you know why so many people, once they've been single for too long, start wondering if there's something mentally wrong with them? Because being trapped in loneliness and emotional depletion for a long time makes people feel lost, helpless, depressed, and even start constantly doubting themselves. In fact, the pain and damage that being single brings to a woman far exceeds the difficulties and ups and downs encountered in marriage. It's a kind of suffering that gets magnified many times over. Some people say, men are like sheep. Men could actually play the role of guiding, protecting, and supporting women within a marriage. And women, you don't have to keep forcing yourselves to be tough, nor do you need to keep pretending to be so-called independent and strong. A true sense of belonging should come from a warm relationship where both people rely on and support each other. Marriage doesn't necessarily have to be the prison of our lives. Children should never be seen as burdens on the road ahead. On the contrary, a complete family can offer us the greatest comfort and strength when we are most lonely and helpless. It is not only the reason we strive forward, but also the hope that keeps us alive and the deepest sense of belonging we long for in our hearts.
我说实话哈，我觉得一个女人愿意花男人的钱才真的喜欢她的。
To be honest, I've always felt that if a woman is truly willing to spend a man's money, that's when she really likes him. Don't keep calling us women materialistic all the time. That kind of judgment is way too shallow and shows a lack of understanding. When a couple is dating, a woman's normal daily expenses, like having a few meals together or buying a handbag or two, are completely reasonable and don't even come close to being materialistic. Think about it carefully. How many women are actually willing to spend big money on luxury brands like Chanel or Dior? The vast majority of women are actually quite frugal. Most of them are buying knockoff bags instead of the real thing. If even this gets labeled as being materialistic, then I really have nothing more to say. Moreover, if a woman isn't willing to spend her boyfriend's money at all, it's often because she doesn't want to get too deeply involved with him, or maybe she's afraid of owing him some kind of emotional debt. That's the part you should really be concerned about. I mean, if the two are already in a relationship, what's wrong with the woman spending a little of the man's money? If she's not spending his money, then whose money is she supposed to spend? And some guys are even more outrageous. They're already in a relationship, yet they're still unwilling to spend even a little on their girlfriend. They always want to go Dutch, and even get stingy over a simple meal. Honestly, I've got nothing to say to that. Aren't we women supposed to enjoy getting free meals and being pampered by men?
说我为什么最近出现的频率少了，因为我得了抑郁症。
Hello everyone, I'm Cece, 38 years old, unmarried and considered a leftover woman. Recently, quite a few friends have been asking why I haven't shown up much lately. Actually, I want to be honest with everyone, I've indeed not been in a good emotional state these days. Some time ago, I was diagnosed with depression. Later, I moved in temporarily with my best girlfriend. These past few days, she has been taking care of me with great care, whether it's meals, daily life or emotional support, it has all helped me gradually recover a bit. Now I'm doing a little better than a few days ago. My overall emotional state has started to stabilize. Although there are still ups and downs, I will keep working hard and try my best to adjust myself. I truly hope that everyone out there who, like me, is also going through depression, will slowly get better, rediscover their love and hope for life, and learn to love and take good care of themselves again. Lastly, I especially want to thank every single netizen who has been following and caring about me. It's your comments and encouragement that made me feel the warmth of this world. Cece will do her best to keep going, and I also hope all of you stay safe and happy. I can definitely get through this. Let's cheer up together.
我是一名33岁的大龄剩女，我最近极度的焦虑和内耗。
I am 33 years old this year, and I am a typical older leftover woman. Recently, my anxiety has been getting worse and worse, and my inner world has almost fallen into a state of constant mental exhaustion. I've already started to realize how serious the situation is, because I can't even maintain the most basic routines and sleep anymore. My daily rhythm is completely messed up. I'm sluggish during the day, and at night, even though I'm very sleepy, I just can't fall asleep. My social life is almost zero. I'm completely isolated in my own tiny circle. I can't get myself motivated at work, and I'm becoming more and more impatient in life. Everything is falling apart. At first, I had pinned some hope on the internet, hoping it could be my outlet, bring me some comfort or a turning point. But in reality, after immersing myself online for a while, not only did it not make me feel any better, it actually made me feel even emptier. I really don't know how to adjust myself going forward, especially when it comes to the anxiety about childbirth. It keeps coming at me from time to time. I think maybe I could try attending more offline blind date events. Although I'm not sure whether this could truly solve the problem deep down, I really hope that one day I can genuinely let go of that obsession. I must get married and have children. Because I believe the moment I truly let it go, my heart will feel much lighter. Maybe only then can I truly walk out of this long-term mental burnout and truly escape this suffocating anxiety. Right now, I live every day in fear of the future. I just can't stop thinking about things that haven't even happened yet, and I get stuck in endless overthinking. I know it's stupid, and I understand a lot of things in theory, but emotionally, I just can't control it. I'm really worried. If I never get married, if I can't have children in the future, will I regret it for the rest of my life? Will I feel like my entire life has been a complete failure? If I don't have children, then what's the meaning of all the effort I put into life? Sometimes I even think, since life is already like this, maybe I can just give up now? As long as I don't starve, just having food to eat is enough. Wouldn't life be simpler that way? Wouldn't it be a little less painful? I'm truly afraid that, bit by bit, I might end up developing mental problems, maybe even something close to a real psychological disorder.
我是一个985院校毕业的硕士生，37岁了都没有结婚。
I graduated with a master's degree from a 985 university, and I'm already 37 years old, still unmarried. A few months ago, I shut down the company I had run for 4 years, turning myself into an unemployed drifter. To fight against my depression, I went on a solo road trip for 3 months. That aimless wandering gave me a sense of peace, as if I had escaped from reality. But slowly, that sense of peace turned into a kind of emptiness. Right now, I have no career, no family, no husband, no children, no sense of belonging. It feels like I have no connection whatsoever to this world. I suddenly felt that truly all the fame, status, wealth, and even youth are nothing but illusions. When you grow old, the most precious things around you are your loved ones, your family, your friends, and the person by your side. Being able to grow old with someone hand in hand, what a beautiful and enviable thing that is. But why is it that my life just never goes the way I want it to?
I once saw a psychologist say, being single for a long time isn't scary. What's truly scary is not realizing how it's quietly changing you. What actually happens when you've been single for too long? The truth is, many people are unwilling to admit that living alone for an extended period can subtly affect your mental state and emotions. You gradually become more indifferent, no longer taking the initiative to build any deep connections with others. Over time, a sense of inferiority quietly creeps in. You begin to wonder, is there something wrong with me that no one truly loves me? You also slowly lose the courage to pursue true love. You both want to get close to love, yet instinctively avoid it. Even when you occasionally meet someone who makes your heart flutter, you don't move closer. Instead, you smile, shake your head, and say, oh, forget it. Many people use one sentence to comfort themselves, to avoid the eventual ending. I might as well refuse every beginning. It sounds rational, but in reality, they're slowly shutting themselves off. Especially for some older leftover women, the damage from long-term singleness can be even greater. The older you get, the easier it is to fall into the cracks between societal prejudice and self-denial. Without emotional support or psychological counseling, it's easy to develop anxiety, depression, or even more severe mental health issues. So, sometimes when an older leftover woman says she's used to being alone, it's actually a form of self-protection born from forced loneliness. And behind the words, "I'm doing fine," there might be countless unspoken grievances and solitude. What other effects do you think long-term singleness can have? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to chat with you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next one.